Big slam, ready? Ah, great.
Right.
Good to have you on, bro.
Thank you.
Let's put that in there.
Yeah.
Dude, this is awesome because I feel like you've had such a fast rise over it's been 2 years, I think, since you started?
Yeah,
Year and a half?
17 months.
That's crazy.
I opened it.
Just for some context, for everyone watching, listening, who might not know who you are, you started interviewing people on the street.
Yeah.
And you've now turned that into an agency called Street Talk. And how much are you guys doing a month right now?
About $315,000 a month.
Nice. And you're 23, right?
Just turned 23 last week.
Let's go,
I hate to
bro.
say I'm 23, but yeah, I am.
Sounds
23.
cooler at 22, huh?
Yeah, it sounds way better.
Every year you get older, you're just like, fuck, this is so much less cool. But
Yeah.
no, that's still crazy impressive, bro. And like,
Thank you.
know, and you guys have great margins, apparent. Like that's what you say, right?
Yep.
And so, what a great business model, bro. Very niche, but growing. Okay, so for everyone listening, like take us back to the very first, like even before the business started. Why did you even start interviewing people on the street? What's the lore?
Totally. And as I get into it, I want to say to the person watching this right now, I was you 15 months ago. Like you can change whatever situation you're in right now. It all can change like that. I was a kid watching these podcasts less than 2 years ago, trying to figure out how do I get successful? How do I make money on the internet? What do I have to do? I was you. So I want to lay it all out there. I want to show you guys that it is possible. I was in special ed. I was in the worst math classes in my high school. I had a 2.1 GPA. There's absolutely nothing special about me. And I want to break it down so that you can feel inspired and feel that it is possible, because it is more possible now than ever before in human history.
There is one thing that's special about you, bro, and it's your attitude. I don't know what you think your superpower is, but I think everything in life is about attitude. And I'm sure you guys will hear this as he starts explaining his story. Like even in the worst and shittiest situations, like you always just woke up with a smile and you're like, I'm gonna attack the day. People want to help and buy from people like that. 100%. But yeah, bro, excited to hear it.
And I'll get into it. And there's one of my favorite sayings is like when your car breaks down on the highway, the person that gets out and tries to push his car, other people are going to try to stop and help him push his car. The person that sits in his car and is just screaming, no one's helping. So that's how I always try to live as I started the agency, was be the guy behind the car that I know I couldn't push myself, but push it with all my might, because I know someone's going to stop and see me pushing and try to help. So, but I will get into it. As I'm sure you know Oliver Bricado.
Yeah.
He started a brand called Tabs Chocolate. It was like a viral sex chocolate on TikTok. And I was 18 years old at the time. My parents were going through a divorce, and I was a freshman at college. And I was always obsessed with social media, with marketing and content and creator economy. Like I was your stereotypical kid that wanted to, make money on the internet and want to go get a corporate job, just like pretty much everyone watching.
Did you feel like a black sheep in school?
I would 100%, but it was like a very like blanketed black sheep, because I was in the frat. Like I was, rush chair of the frat at Syracuse, like lived in the house, had my best friends, still really good friends with those kids now. But every Sunday while they were watching football, I was like pacing around, like, how do I like get successful? I would in marketing class, I'm like, this isn't gonna do anything for me. Everyone's like stressing out trying to get internships. I'm like, what is this where does it lead? Like I was always trying to figure out, okay, like where does this action take me? And like I would look at the kids that graduated, the kids that had the good GPA, the kids that had the good job, like they were miserable. They weren't living the life that I wanted to live. And I was like, I loved college. Like I loved my friends. Like I went to a very big party school, but I just felt still like an outsider, because my mind was always like thinking bigger. How I wanted more for my life than just having fun on a Friday night party and getting a good job. So anyway, I met Oliver Bricado when I was like 12 years old, and in middle school.
12 years old?
Yeah.
How old was he?
He was 13.
Oh, wow.
I was like 7th grade. He was 8th grade.
Okay.
And he was making a lot of money selling fidget spinners at his high school. And he was like the only kid that I saw that was an entrepreneur. And I was like, bro, you're making money. Like everyone else I know is like begging their parents for money. Like you're like funding your own life at, like in middle school. It's like, how are you doing this? Like what is this? So we became friends. And I then went to like my local town barbershop, and I would go and I would say, I'm going to take before and after photos for the people that are at your barbershop and post them on your Instagram. And that's how I made my first like $5,000. And then I would go and I would ask him for advice, like, how can I make this bigger? He's like, oh, well, you need to go to another barbershop, and then you need to hire someone to go to barbershops. And he was always like the person I was like looking up to, because he was always 100 years ahead of me. And he started a brand, or he was a CMO of a brand called like Light Leggings when he was like 15. And then fast forward to when I was 18, my freshman year of college, he called me and he was like, yo, would you want to come to Miami? I'm starting this brand called Tabs Chocolate. I need like a head of content that's going to help me manage content creators and do UGC and all the stuff that people talk about now. This was in 2021. I didn't know what ecom was. I didn't know what UGC meant. I thought to make money on social media, you had to be Jake Paul, have 1 million followers. And my parents were going through a really bad divorce, and I really didn't want to go back home. So Oliver rented a place in Miami, and I moved in with him. We actually shared a bed for the first like 3 nights, and there was nothing else. And there's not even a pillow. We use like our sweatshirts as pillows. Crazy. And Oliver, I don't care. He's super cheap, and he like he was like ordering it on like Amazon. It took like 2 days. So yeah, we had to share the bed. But that summer taught me what it takes to be successful. I was terrible at the job. I didn't get any equity in Tabs. I didn't understand how to do anything. But from osmosis and watching that kid execute, he was up at 5 o'clock in the morning every single day, even on a Sunday, calling people, walking around, calling suppliers, trying to figure out how to build his personal brand on Twitter while building Tabs. The intensity, the focus, and the sheer, like, if this doesn't work, I'll die trying mentality, I lived with it. Every single second, every dinner he went to, he brought me with. Every thought that he crossed his mind, he would ping next to me. So I was getting a masterclass in entrepreneurship and business at 18 years old. And from the day Tabs launched to, you know, the millions and billions of views and millions of dollars in revenues that it's generated, I was there to watch the whole ride and learn e-commerce step by step as he was scaling Tabs.
I want to cut you off real quick. I think that's great because I didn't even know that part of the story, which is sick. I think you're absolutely right about the osmosis, the way of describing it, because I think at the end of the day, I feel like it's the same with my mentor. Sometimes it's just being around those types of people, because when you're around them, you gain confidence and you realize, like, wait a minute, if they can do this, I can 100%. Do this. And sometimes confidence is all you need to like go take a big risk, and then, you know. And
it's 100%, and it removes the curtain. When you haven't done it before, you think there's like this world that only certain people are in. And when you're next to it and you see other people executing, you're like, oh, this is the behind the curtain. This is how they're thinking. And you just learn, you pick it up. The same way, I was very like EQ. I was very, I could read rooms and read people very well. That taught me that this is the energy and the focus and the attitude needed to win. So then when I went to go start Street Talk, I knew if I had to translate that energy and focus into street interviews, there was nothing that was going to stop me. And that was really how I learned, because most people when they start, most people work, hard and then they think they did enough and then they go hang out. Like the successful person goes 100 miles an hour, 20 hours a day and thinks they didn't do enough. And like that mentality is what I brought to Street Talk, and that's what Oliver had, and that's what Oliver taught me. So it wasn't like media buying or like very specific skills that I learned. It was the how to think as an entrepreneur mind that I then brought with me to Street Talk.
Dude, I think that's the best way to describe it. Yeah, and I think it's unfortunate because there are a lot of other people out there who want to be successful, and they are like traditionally hard workers. I have a lot of friends like this, and they'll start to see a little bit of success. Yeah, they'll like jump up and they'll go from level 1 to 2 to 3, and then you'll call and check in on them, and you're like, "Yo, what are you doing?" They're like, "Oh, I'm out, bro."
Yeah, they'll plateau.
Like, oh, like I have a buddy that I call every Saturday, and I'm like, "Yo, just to check in on him," and he's like, "Yo, we're going out," and I'm like, "Why? Yeah, are you where you want?" I remember my mentor one time when I like started to see like a little bit of success. I felt really good about myself. I was like, "Damn, I'm 23 and it's really working." And I called him and I'm like, "What's going on?" And he just grilled me. He was like, "Why are you at Coachella right now?" Yeah. I was like, "What do you mean?" "I'm just having a good time with my buddies." He goes, "Are you where you want to be in life?" I said, "No, but I will be." He's like, "Then why are you partying?" Yeah. No, it made me feel like shit. I was like, damn, this is the guy that's the best in the world at this. So
that's how I felt in college. Yeah. In college, like, everyone's partying 5 nights a week. I'm like, what are we celebrating? Yeah. I'm like, why? Like, we have nothing. We have no bit. Like, why are we celebrating? That's very much. I felt the same exact way.
But I do think college is good. I'm curious your opinion on this, and then I want to hear the rest of the story. But real quick, since we're on the topic of college, I actually feel like even though college might be wasting a couple years in your business journey, I think, at least for me, it was totally worth it because I gained social skills and I got the partying out of my system. And now, from 23 to 30, I can grind and build multiple businesses, build a legacy, get ready to have a family, and not feel FOMO, like I'm missing out on partying.
100%.
Whereas there's a lot of other entrepreneurs that were maybe a little more like nerdy, and they didn't go to college and they didn't do the whole college experience.
And there will always be a hole in their heart that they know they missed it. But life is like high school. And I will, like, the people that, you know, like that feeling of like FOMO and not getting invited to the party, like that never goes away. So I think it just doesn't. Like even the most successful people on earth, like that I've like, they say that same thing. 100% agree. But I think me and you also were in a place too where we like succeeded socially in college, right? So getting like most people in entrepreneurship that at least I know, I'm curious to hear your thoughts too. They weren't like the social frat kid. Like,
oh, never.
Like they weren't like the president of their frat. They weren't in the top frat. Like they weren't that. And so like when I brought that energy and that charisma and that social EQ into the world of B2B agency, and I just ran over everyone because no one had any social skills. No one could network.
Everyone's nerds.
Everyone's weird.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Like they're grinding, but you're totally right. But and the reason I made a video about this the other day, the reason why most social butterflies do not become successful in life, and I'm curious if you agree with this or not, is because a friend of mine, Davi Gazelle, actually said this. He's in Outliers as well. And he said, in order to succeed in anything, whether it be like sports, acting, business, mathematics, science, whatever your profession is, if you really want to succeed at the highest level, you have to be the opposite of like nonchalant. Like you have to care.
Yeah, you have to give a fuck.
You have to really give a fuck, and you have to not skip over the little details, and you have to really be like, you know, you have to be detailed. And in real life, at least in high school and college, the kids that are the coolest are the ones that don't really give a fuck, and they're not tripping about little things, you know? And when you get used to that, what's the word? When you get used to that.
Agency, fire.
Well, yeah, you have to have high agency to succeed in life, but if you're popular most of the time in high school and college, you get used to that positive reinforcement. You get used to people liking you. You get used to people thinking you're cool, and the idea of like going off from the crowd and starting something new is always scary, and so you're not going to be able to take that jump because if you're used to people like thinking you're dope or whatever.
100%.
I don't know if I explained that the right way.
I completely agree with you. That's why it's very important to rationalize and understand why people think that you're cool, what actions you're doing that other people are liking, so that you can translate. Like, you have to be a chameleon, right? Like, how do you translate the lacrosse thing you're cool to the 100 million AR SaaS guys think you're cool, to the to the ecom bros, to like, how do you, like, obviously don't change Lucas, but how do you shift your energy and gain the knowledge to make sure in every room you go into in life, they think you're that cool kid? Because most people, like the football kid, they're cool to that niche in high school, right? But they don't understand why people think that they're cool, and then they can't then use that as a skill set and be a chameleon and make that leapfrog into every single room that they're in. Like, I want the 60-year-old billionaire to think that I'm cool. I want the 14-year-old up-and-coming entrepreneur to look like, I want every person that I'm interacting with to feel like they're getting something out of me. They're getting something out of me. Yeah. And like, I'm not just like the kid sitting there smoking the Juul, like, you know, asking for the bong hit. Like, that kid is cool, but how do you become cool in every room? Yeah. And that's not, and people are going to hear that and they're going to think like, oh, like, why does that matter? But it does matter, because you want people to get something from you. You want to be in rooms and people feel like, I would love to have Josh in the room, or I would love to have Lucas in the room. You never want to feel like you're an outsider, and you never want to feel like you're taking away, you're taking somebody else's seat. We're going to a sick event today. Yeah, so Josh and I are probably going to be some of the youngest and least successful. By far least successful. Guys at this event. We're going to an event in a couple hours. It's probably like the most high status, exclusive, premier e-com event in the country. It's going to be 150 guys doing anywhere from 50 million a year to billions. Yeah, close to $1 billion a year in e-com. And it's hosted at like this probably $30 million Beverly Hills mansion, and we just got an invite because like my mentor is the one putting it on, and people thought I was cool. Yeah, and people thought I was cool, and so like that was it. It pays to
it pays to have people like you and
Yep.
be likable. And there's so many young entrepreneurs out there that don't understand. They're smart, maybe they're a little nerdy, and they just think they can outsmart everybody else. But you have to be social, and you have to, like, people have to like you to get invited to certain places.
Success is an IQ thing. As long as after like a base, it's everything else. So like the other thing, and I'll get more into like my story, so like have some like authority, so I'm not just giving random advice. But the next thing I always say, and I think you met Jake, is don't just go out and try it yourself. Don't just go and start business and fail and fail and fail and fail. That's like the bad way to do it. Find someone that is succeeding, provide value to them.
Yeah.
Get in a room. Like be the videographer, be the editor, be the Swiss Army knife to someone that's already doing something.
Do you know Dean Johnson?
No.
That's exactly what he said. He was like this kid he's in Outliers as well. He was on the pod.
Okay.
And he said the exact same thing when he met his current business partner. He was like a loser working at a grocery store, and he was like, let me just work for you, bro. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
And he just adapted and became valuable. And then they partnered up later down the line.
Kurt is one of our top guys out at Street Talk. He texted me like every day for almost 2 weeks. Like, I'll do street reviews for free. I'll do street reviews for free. I'll do street reviews for free. I didn't respond. I didn't have his number. I just like, finally he just like in bold, like, I'll work for you for free. I was like, okay, show up at Washington Square Park. He got there at 7 a.m.
How did he hear about you?
Through his friend was working at Icon, and Icon was a client. Kurt was 24, and he was really lost. He was living with his parents, and he didn't, he wanted to do something, but he was living in Philly at the time. I didn't even know he was living in Philly.
Yeah.
Showed up at 7 a.m. Crushed it. Went out the
No
did
way.
reviews, crushed it.
That's sick.
And I was like, bro, why don't you come back tomorrow? He's like, okay. Got there at 7 a.m. the next day. We're not supposed to be there till 10. He was like walking around New York by himself for 3 hours. Crushed it the next day. And I was like, bro, why don't, like, let's go out for dinner. Like, I think we can bring you onto the team. He's like, no, I gotta get back to Philly. I was like, what's in Philly? He's like, oh, I've been driving in at 5 o'clock in the morning from Philly for the last 3 days. It was 3 days in a row to come work for you for free. And didn't even tell me. I thought he lived in New York.
Damn.
So I went, I got an air mattress. I put it in my apartment. He stayed with me for a week. He now is making enough money to live in New York City by himself.
That's sick.
And he's put in part of the ride at Street Talk, and he's going to be my right-hand guy for a really long time. But that's a classic example, is like, he had no real skills. Most people can go do a street interview, but he found a person that could give him an opportunity. He didn't go walk around in Philly to try to figure out how to do street interviews. He found me, provided value to me for free, showed that he was a hustler. I then moved him in with me, got him an air mattress, and I'm taking care of him. And he's going to keep taking care of me. But that's just, like, and do what I did with Oliver. Like, I got paid $3,000. I'll say it right. Oliver paid me $3,000 at Summer Tabs. Total, whole summer salary.
Damn.
But the learning that I got and the rooms and the people that I met were worth millions of dollars. So most people would be like, oh, dude, $3,000, Tabs is doing whatever Tabs is doing.
Yeah.
I was happy to be there. I was happy to learn. So that's the biggest thing. And I have a friend right now who just quit his corporate job. He's now me, Oliver, and a few of our other entrepreneur friends have an office on Madison Avenue in New York that we moved into. He quit. He's renting a desk from us that he can't afford just to be in the room with us.
Totally worth it.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, I pulled up to their office earlier this week when we were all in New York. It's dope. It's just a great vibe.
Yeah.
And being 100% being around anybody that's more successful than you is worth the money in itself.
Yeah.
Even regardless of if you can work with them or not, it'll get you thinking in a different way. You'll learn how to think and act the right way.
You'll learn how to think, how to act, how to be, what energy is needed, what energy translates. Like, success in sales is all about translating energy. Like, what energy are they moving with? What are they thinking about? What's worrying them? And there's just no way he's going to be less successful than if he stayed in a corporate American job in 5 years. There's just no way.
Yeah, and money just moves easily. Like, it's funny, like, real quick, I pull up to his office, and so he's in my group, Outliers, right?
Phenomenal group.
Appreciate it, bro. Founder entrepreneur group. And how long ago did you join? Like 2 or 3 months? Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I pull up to his office. There's another kid in there who's like 19, 20 years old. He runs like a LinkedIn agency, helps you blow up on LinkedIn. And yeah, he's like 19 or 20, does a little over 100K a month. And Josh is like, yo, you should join his group. The kid's like, oh, I'm down. Okay, boom. Sends me 10K. I'm like, wait, so what do you do? I kind of interview him real quick. He's like, I help people blow up on LinkedIn and X. So I'm like, oh, sign me up. I send him back the money, right? And now we just did a deal like that in like less than 15 minutes of meeting each other. And dude, it's just, when you're around good people, energy flows, good ideas flow, and opportunity flows, I like to say. But the more you can
And you're able
get
to
in
look
a-
for opportunity. Like opportunity,
Yeah.
I love this exercise too, and you can do this watching it at home right now. How many black things can you see in the room right now?
I don't know, 20.
A lot. Black, 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 black. My pants are black. There's so much black, right?
Yeah.
The same is true with opportunity. And most people look around the room and they see colors. They don't see the black. They don't know to look for black. They don't know black means opportunity. And when you're in the room of all these killers, you learn what the black is and how to look for the black. And you're never taught what black is. You're never taught what opportunity is, how to leverage opportunity, right? Success is all about building your leverage, building leverage, building social capital, building your personal capital. It's all about leverage. So you're now able to see what leverage we're looking for, how we're finding the black, and even to just look for the opportunity. You're not taught that at a job. You're not taught that at school. You're not taught that anywhere. The only way you're going to learn that is by being in a room with us.
Yeah, 100%. So let's backtrack a little bit. All right, so obviously now you have this agency that's growing crazy fast. It's doing extremely well, but in the early days, like why street interviews? Had anyone done that before?
No.
Or like monetized it or anything?
Yeah, so I'll give you the story. So I was about to start a corporate job in New York City. I was staying on Oliver's couch. This was last May of 24. Oliver was bullying me like no other. You're a sheep, you're a corporate. But it was more so like, yeah, it was fun. But he would sit me down and he was like, you are better than this. You have something. You have a skill set. You have a unique thing about Josh. Like, don't go to corporate. Like, you have me. Oliver had already, had 40,000 followers on Twitter. He's like, you have me as a best friend. Like, most people pay me $1,000 for a 30-minute phone call. He's like, you're living with me. You're my best friend. I'll do anything for you. Like, you have to do something with that. And he was right. He was right about that. It wasn't an ego way. Like, he was right.
Yeah. And you need friends like that.
Yeah.
That are going to tell you when you're not living up to your potential.
And we saw the street interview format blowing up like on short form. And he asked me to do it for his SaaS at the time. And he's like, I'll give you $2,000 for 30 street interviews. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're gonna be $2,000 to go talk to 30 people about your SaaS. And at the time, like, people weren't running street interviews and this organic UGC as met ads. Like, it wasn't a thing. I didn't even know what ad creatives were. And I did well. And then another brand asked me to do it for them. And they're like, we'll give you $1,500 for 10. And I was like, done. And another brand was like, we'll give you $2,000 for 20 of them. And I was like, okay. I didn't even know how to negotiate what I was selling. And I just had friends that were in e-commerce from my Tabs days. Within a week, I'd made like $5,000.
Damn.
And I was supposed to start Blade, my internship, on the Monday. This was on a Friday, so we started on a Monday. And Jake Paul was having a press conference in New York. Oliver and I snuck backstage to Jake Paul's press conference, and we told like the security worked it better. And I opened the door, and Jake and Logan.
You snuck in?
Yeah, I snuck in.
Let's talk about that real quick. Okay, so a lot of people would be terrified to do that, right? What gave you the confidence to sneak in and risk getting in trouble or looking like an idiot? Like,
that's just something like I've always been like that. Like,
Yeah.
I've always been a risk taker and just wanted to like push the limits.
Okay.
And I was thinking about quitting my internship, and I was like, I want to hear Jake and Logan Paul's opinion if I should quit my internship or not. And I was like, well, they're not going to respond to my DMs, so I got to go to them.
valid. All right.
So I just always looked up to them growing up.
Yeah, they're studs.
And they crushed it. I was like, I would love to hear their perspective. So anyway, I snuck backstage and opened the door. It was Greg, Paul, Pam, their mom, Jake, and Logan. And Jake had his AirPods in, didn't give me the time of day. Logan did. And I pitched Logan my idea. And I was like, yo, I'm thinking about, I have no social media following, but brands will pay me thousands of dollars to go make content for them. I was like, I have less than 10K to my name. What do you think about me just like going all in on just like UGC type content for consumer brands, doing street reviews for them? I bet I could make hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this. He loved it. He was like, you should go all in on this. And he was like, and then he grabbed my shoulder. He looked at me. He was like, consistency. Just don't stop. You have it. You have that thing. Don't stop. And then they walked away. And I quit my job about an hour later.
Wow.
And I went all in.
That's all it took is a sentence of advice from Logan Paul.
And I went all in. And every single day, I walked around Manhattan, 30, 35, 40,000 steps every single day with a backpack full of brands you've never heard of. I had a videographer. His name is Nico. He's like 5'2", and he would follow me around New York. And I would go and I would just interview people about dialed gum, about this deodorant that you've never heard of. And then I would post it on Twitter. Twitter's home to all the e-commerce community. And then slowly I started building momentum. Then I would go to CVS and I would grab a brand like Doritos or Dove, and I would post on Twitter doing stream reviews for Dove. And then like a dozen other soap brands would DM me.
And you weren't getting paid by those?
No, I wasn't getting paid by Dove.
Dude, that's hella smart. There was someone the other day that I talked to who did the same thing. It's like, yeah, then that's one of the easiest ways to start with anything. Just pretend. Well, it was someone I was talking to about podcast. They got like a really well-known brand and said like, yo, today's podcast is sponsored by, Vita Cocoa Water. And then everyone else will hit you up. I want to get sponsored.
Yeah.
That's hella smart.
Bro, you should get sponsored by WAP. I'll actually set that up after this.
Well, I don't really sponsor because I have all my own stuff, but I could be open to it. But
we'll text
talk
after. But they're
right.
sponsoring podcasts right now. I sent them a referral.
All right.
But what was I going to say? So every single day I'd wake up and I would go to Washington Square Park, and everyone there is trying to build their personal brand, is trying to get following. I don't give a fuck how many people follow me. I'm getting paid $15,000 to be here. I have to go shoot for 5 brands.
It's crazy.
And then the next day, I would go and shoot for another 5 brands, and another 5 brands. And they would all just find me on Twitter. I made like a little website called the203media.com. This is before Street Talk, with a calendar link to book a call and like a bio about me. That's it. I mean, we did our first $800,000 of revenue with that one website.
In how long?
In almost 8 months.
Damn.
It was pretty crazy.
Just with you and your videographer?
Just me. Yeah, just with me.
Wow. And organic outreach, and brands
nothing.
Just hitting you up?
Referrals.
Whoa.
Referrals and Twitter. That's it.
You've probably never seen that kind of money before, right?
No. And no, it's the most money I've ever made.
Yeah.
But that summer, so I started in June.
It's got to be invigorating.
June to August, I went from less than $10K to my name to over $130,000 in cash sitting in my bank account profit, because there's no costs. There's no overhead, right? There's no one to pay.
Yeah.
I had a videographer I was paying hourly, and I had an editor overseas that I was paying $2,000 a month to edit all the stream reviews and clip it and send it to the brand. I didn't know what Slack was. I didn't know what ROAS meant. I didn't know what media buying meant. I didn't know what any of it meant. But I was the best stream reviewer for e-commerce brands in the world, and I was flying like hot. Like every e-com brand in the world was referring me to their friend, putting me in group chats, like nothing you've ever seen. I would go stream review for an hour. I'd look at my phone. I'm in 30 group chats with 30 different brands. And then I would befriend them, and I would charge them like $2,000, because now I would get on the phone with the CEO of Breeze or the founder of Snow, Josh Snow, or like all these guys would just like call me. And like when I would go to shoot for Snow, I would FaceTime Josh Snow, and I'd be like, "Hey man, I'm shooting for your brand right now. What are you up to?" And they would love it. No agency is doing that.
Yeah.
No one's doing that. And then Josh Snow would tell me to go do it for his friends. And it would do it, and we have a mutual friend, Albert. Like Albert, I became friends with because he worked in my agency. And then I would text him and ask him for advice. And I was selling like a baguette to a billionaire, is how I looked at it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care if they're paying me $2,000 or $4,000. You're now on my phone, and we're friends, and you're successful.
There's such a good lesson in that right there, because I think so many agencies, young entrepreneurs, anybody would probably try and overcharge. They would say, you know what? Well, okay, I charged $1,000 to this, tiny 7-figure e-com brand, but this 9-figure brand, they have the money. So I'm going to try and charge them $10,000 for these interviews. And then they lose out on, the most important part of that connection, which is the connection and the relationship, and not the money.
The leverage, you always have to be looking at what the leverage points are. So when you have nothing, you have no leverage. So then you have to find leverage to build small amount of capital, and then use that small amount of capital of what you're doing to build social capital. Because the social capital leads to more capital.
But it sounds like you didn't care too much about what they were paying you. You just wanted to work with these brands.
Yes, I just wanted them to be friends.
There's
with
a
me.
great lesson in there. Yeah.
And even for Breeze is one of the biggest. Do you know Breeze? It's like the THC soda.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're a 9-figure brand, and Aaron was one of my first clients, and he didn't want to pay me. Like a lot of e-com brand, or no, he did want to pay me, but he wanted to pay. He was negotiating with me. Yeah. That's a lie. Sorry, Aaron. He paid me $3,000, but I was trying to charge like $5,000 now at the time.
Yeah.
I said, absolutely no problem at all. Could you post for me on Twitter? He's like, sure. I'll post your first video on Twitter. So every day, this isn't even in the story, I didn't have a laptop. My laptop was like super old, and it was at my home in Connecticut, and I didn't have any Wi-Fi, because the apartment I was staying at in New York was a shithole, and there was no Wi-Fi. And I had to upload, hundreds of stream reviews every day. That would take, any apartment 10 hours to upload. So I would go to an Apple store every single night, and I'd go to the same Apple store. And then at the Apple store is where I would FaceTime all my brand owner friends and like, this is what happened today. I got this reaction, and they would love it. So the day I shot for Breeze, I went to the Apple store and I FaceTimed Aaron. And he was blowing up on Twitter, like nothing you've ever seen before. He was like the D2C darling, and he answered my FaceTime, and I was like, "What's up, bro? I got you the best stream reviews today," and he ate it all up, and he before I even delivered him the video, posted for me on Twitter, tagging me, drove me 17 booked calls in less than 24 hours. Brands like Hug Sleep, I forgot the other like brands that like really established brands all follow him on Twitter, and me saying yes for $3K work brought me $50K.
That's crazy. And also, dude, I just gotta say, like, I can even speak for myself. If I were to be talking to a young founder or a young entrepreneur, like let's say yourself a year ago, and you FaceTime me and you said, "Yo, bro, like the interviews went great. I'm at the Apple Store uploading your content right now." I'd be like, "Wait, what? You're at the Apple Store?" You'd be like, "Yeah, I don't have Wi-Fi." I'd be like, fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah, literally.
That's awesome. Like people, like I think every entrepreneur has gone through something like that. And so they respect other people who are willing to do it. Show the struggle. So many people want to hide the struggle. They don't want to tell other people that they can't pay for their rent. They don't want to tell other people that they're about to go bankrupt. But like when you open up and you're transparent about that stuff, that's when people want to help you.
Yeah.
It's like the whole pushing your car thing. It's like you could act like everything's good and nice and like, you know, dandy, but then no one's going to get out to help you.
Because people love authenticity.
Yeah.
And most people try to make their life seem perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm very good at being like, hey, I was a complete idiot. I had a 2.1 GPA. I was in the worst math class. I got cheated on. I had no idea how to start an LLC, so I had to walk around New York City. I had no idea how to run a business, do anything. So I found the one thing I could do, which is talk to people. I started an LLC by talking to people. That's how I made my first, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Crazy.
And anyway, so then, I ended that summer with making about like 110,000, I think, in my checking account by the end of that summer. Like profit, my money after paying for food and paying for everything. Yeah. And I was like, well, this doesn't make sense to go back to college. And our friend Matt Epstein, he was staying with me at the time in New York because he just graduated college. Matt's also a big part to the story. Him and Oliver. Matt had a big Twitter following. Matt showed me what Slack was. Matt would retweet me on Twitter. Matt would bring me to events that he was going to. Oliver wasn't living in New York at the time. Matt moved in with me, and Matt, at the time I was texting with brands. Matt was like, "Bro, you need to get a Slack." I'm like, "What's a Slack?" He's like, "Bro." Matt was like, "You got to start posting on Twitter." I'm like, "Why would I post on Twitter?" He's like, "Bro, all the e-com brands are on there." Matt, my payment process, I got banned on Stripe in 3 weeks. Matt was like, "Okay, we got to set up you up a second payment processor." I was like, "What's a payment processor?" I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm like the same way. If you've never started a business before, like, you don't know either. I had no idea. What EIN number was, which is your business social security. I didn't know anything.
And those are intimidating things in the early days. You're like, fuck, you trip about those for like weeks. You're like, how do I start this? How do I start this?
Matt would listen to my sales calls and then just be ruthless with me. Be like, "You suck. Do you sound like a child? Like no one's gonna give you money." Like I would call Matt because Matt was growing his agency too at the same time, and he had a partner and he had a head of ops and he had a creative strategist, and I would call him like walking around the park like sweating, like after like doing 7 hours of streams, like, "Bro, like how do I make this a business?" Like I was because there was no business. I was freelancing. I was just pretending that it was a business.
Yeah.
And he would just be ruthless and be like, "You have so much potential. Like you're just being an idiot. You're being too ADD. You need to sit down and learn how to hire, learn how to do these things." And he was right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a big reason why I succeeded was I was made friends with Oliver and Matt, Matt, as the summer ended, convinced me to drop out of college.
And what did your friends think of that? This is a big part in every entrepreneur's early days and journey when they first start. It's like, if you're a nerd or a loser and you go start a business, like there's no one that's going to make fun of you because you have no friends.
Yeah, no one cares.
But since you were, right, no one cares. There's no one to care. But I feel like both in your and my situation, we had a decent size friend group, and
which is everything to you at the time when you're in college. Like the opinions of your sister sorority or like that's like everything.
Well, to be ostracized from your group in general, like the aspect of that in human nature is like terrifying, right? And that's your group, that's your community. So I'm curious, like, what were your friends saying about that? Were they supportive? Were they like, "Bro, this is goofy as hell. What are you doing?"
100% they did. And I want to also make sure that you guys know this. That is the hardest point. Going left and getting out of that, like, mindset and fear of judgment. And that is the hardest thing to swallow. It just gets easier. Like, being able to go, like I was in a very successful frat. Like a lot of parents were extremely successful in my frat. Like dropping out and walking around Washington Square Park wearing like a corn hat and like holding a vibrator, doing videos for Vibrator brands, literally was like everyone was laughing at me. Like everyone, like I was supposed to be a senior in college. I was in my senior year. I was a month into my senior year when I dropped out. It was parents were texting my parents, like my mom, like what is going on? What are you doing? My phone was blowing up with e-com brands begging to pay me. I was like, if I stay here, and I tried to do stream views at college, and it was too hard. It didn't work. And I started my classes Monday and Tuesday. Tuesday night, I'd fly to Matt's couch, and I would stream review Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in New York. I'd fly back to Syracuse, and then I would go to class Monday, Tuesday. Tuesday night, I'd fly back, and I'd sleep on Matt's couch. Matt was living in New York. He had just graduated. He was a year older than me.
Yeah.
I did it for almost 2 months, 7 weeks.
Damn.
I would
flying every week.
Flying back and forth. So Sunday night, back to Syracuse, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, fly to Matt's couch, sleep on his couch, street interview all day long until the sun comes down, upload every night at the Apple Store, fly back to Syracuse. I did it for almost 2 months. Now it's about October, and it's getting a little bit colder, and I'm realizing I can't do both. I'm like living two lives. I'm having two identities. And I'm meeting all these friends in New York, I'm being invited to all these events in New York. And now, this is a Monday. On a Tuesday, during my marketing class, Rob Gronkowski sent me an email. And he has the ice shaker product. I don't know if you've seen it. Him and Chris Gronkowski were on Shark Tank. They have the water. They sent me a cold email asking me to do street reviews for their water bottle. I left my marketing class. I took the call outside one of the bathrooms in the business school.
Yeah.
And Chris Gronkowski and his brother, Rob was in the back of the call, came on, and they'd seen me on Twitter. And they were like, yo, we want to do street reviews for us. And they were idols to me. Like, they were big celebrities. They're like the first like celebrities like I had ever met.
Yeah.
Paid me $4,000 on that phone for 30 street reviews. I walked into the dean's office. I withdrew from Syracuse, and I never looked back.
Hell yeah.
And I moved into Matt's couch, where I stayed for almost 2 months, also like 7 weeks. Slept on that couch. No building and rent to me in New York because I didn't have a W-2. I was 21 years old, and Airbnbs were like $8,000. They're too expensive for me. I wanted to save my money because I didn't know like what I was doing, and I slept on his couch. And every single day, I just tweeted on Twitter what I was doing, how I was hour 5 on the street, hour 7 on the street, going back to the couch, and I just built this B2B personal brand that has generated me millions of dollars in revenue with 3,000 followers on Twitter.
Let me ask you, bro, in those early days when you're sleeping on the couch working like 18-hour days, and it's like exhausting walking around, like, did that feel, when you were in that moment, did that feel like, fuck, this sucks? Or was it like, dude, I'm so happy I'm here and fuck college, like this is exactly where I want to be?
I was like still in our, my frat group me, in our frat Slack, and I would see the parties, but just as you said earlier, I felt like I'd gotten it out of my system. Like it felt like a dead end road being there. I was like, I know what's gonna happen on the Thursday night. I know what the AFI pair is gonna be like. Like I knew what that road, and this new me on the couch and me making money and me trying to build a business was a road that I'd never been down before. So there was like a curiosity and like a what if it works out better than I imagined. I was like, what if this works out? And like every story that I'd ever heard of, like Casey Neistat, like moving to New York when he just had a kid in Connecticut, like every person I admired and looked up to, Jake Paul dropping out of high school, like everyone had just like done something off the grain, and like went left when everyone went right. And I was like, this is my going left when everyone went right. Worst case, I get a job in marketing.
Yeah.
But I was like, I know what this is like. I already made my friends. I've already done the thing. Like I've already done the SCD pair, the Pike playbook. I'd already done it.
Yeah.
I knew what this was gonna be like. I don't know what this is gonna be like. What if it works out?
That's exactly the right mindset, bro. That's exciting, dude. And so at this point, I want to move on to like actually scaling, right?
Yeah.
So you've now figured out, okay, there's an opportunity here that no one else has seen yet.
Yeah.
I can do this. You're like, I'm really good at talking. I'm really good at interviewing people, but I'm not good at any of this back end operation. Which is the same with me, by the way. It's like, fuck, dude, this shit sucks. I don't want to be spreadsheets.
But I know what needs to be done. I can tell people what needs to be done.
Yeah. So what was it like actually, going from, let's say you starting was level 0, you're at level 10 now, going to the next level of like, okay, I feel like it's a huge step in every entrepreneur's journey when you first hire someone better than you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you can hire like a friend and they'll record for you and you pay them hourly. But like when you first hire an A player, it is a transcending feeling because now you need to rise to the occasion because you can't have someone working for you that's better than you.
Yeah.
So now you need to become a leader above them. And I'm curious, like I already know the story, but for everyone listening, how did you go about getting A players on your team to get your business to where it is today?
Totally. So there was a lot of smoke and mirrors for sure in the business to the outside world. In my head, and just like I'm fully transparent, I had no brands on retainer. So meaning I had no reoccurring revenue. So a brand would pay me $2,000 or $3,000. That was the last revenue that I was gonna get until I found another brand. I had such a high churn rate because I was delivering so many videos. Like they were buying 20 and 30 videos.
And that'll last them for 6 months.
That will last them for 6 months. There was no reason for them to get another 20 and another 30. And I didn't know any better. I was like, oh, they're giving me $2,000 or $3,000. I just wanted the money now. I didn't know to charge like $1,000 for 5 or $2,000 for 5, so they have to keep buying. And so I had pretty much 100% churn rate, but I had big logos. So I would just use those logos every month to find new clients. So I only signed my first retainer like 5 months ago.
Oh shit.
For the first full year, I had started at 0 revenue every month. I have to go hunt more clients to survive. But I was hunting Dr. Squatch and like big brands. You were working with my partner who is now Luke Thorberg.
Oh yeah.
Bolt Media.
Yeah.
And Luke was friends with my friend Matt, who I just talked about. And I'd met Luke at dinner. We had gone out together, and he was about the same size, about 50K MRR, but all retainers.
Yeah.
Like very consistent revenue, like high LTV, like had been in business for many years, like but wasn't growing. I had this crazy business that was like I was signing 15 brands every single month of new clients, but I was burning and churning. I had no business, and I couldn't operate. I realized, I was like, okay, if we just put Luke's business into my business, I can now go find 15, if not more clients every month, learn how to sell retainers, learn how to like have a more higher perceived value, probably get more case studies, like bring in creative strategists. Like I didn't know what direct response marketing was. Like I just didn't know what any of this was. And I was like, rather than me trying to pound my head against the computer and like teach myself for years and how to hire, I just bring someone who's done it before. So that's what I did. And I brought in Luke's team. Luke's team came in. All of a sudden now we have 8 editors. We had 3 creative strategists. I had a head of client success. And all of a sudden I had a business. And I was like, okay, now I can just sell and market street talk. Now all my clients stayed. We didn't have any churn. And now we had to get consistent revenue. And then I could go and sell and they would stay. I could go and sell and they would stay. And then within 3 months of Luke and I working together, business like over 3x'd.
It's crazy.
And
it's so sick when you actually like, I remember my mentor texted me a couple months ago. He's like, congrats, bro. Now you have a real business.
Yeah.
And when you actually just get to focus on what you want to focus on and what your skill set is, and you have other people that can do everything else, that's when you actually have a real business. And it's such like it's just an exciting feeling.
I feel like I have a real business up until maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Up until two to 3 months ago, it was freelancing. Like straight up. Like I was like, now I'm kind of okay, it's a business. Still doesn't even feel like a business. Like I look at, $1 million a month agencies, I'm like, that's a business. So like the key takeaway there is hire or partner with, like I'm left-handed, find your right hand.
Yeah.
Find like, are you really good at, and how do you spend all of your time doing what you're really, really good at?
You said something, you had a quote that you said the other day to me that I want to try and get out of you again. You said something like, because I was generous, I get to focus on the things that I'm good at. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I thought I was like, dude, that's such a great way to say that. And that's a lesson that so many young entrepreneurs will never learn, because so many people are so stingy with equity and they're so stingy with partners.
Because, because it's not, especially for your first business, I'm giving a lot of advice for like, this is your thing that's going to build your name, like your first business. Like, and this is my first business. I want to build as big of a pie as possible and have as many hands in it and have as many people win and make as much money for other people as humanly possible, because then that's just going to be good for me. Like the more people that work hard for me, the more successful we will be. And a lot of people are really stingy with money and equity and investment and like all these different things, because they're like, no, I did this. It's $100 million company is not possible with you holding on to everything. It's just not. You have to learn how to delegate, how to trust. and how to figure out what is your superpower, right? Like billion-dollar companies are made by people having extreme superpowers and everyone leaning into their extreme superpowers together. That's how it's made. So that then takes me to Luke and I bring in a CEO.
So what's your position and what's his position at this time?
Right now, I'm the chief growth officer.
Okay.
He's the CEO.
Gotcha.
Now, as of like 4 weeks.
Luke.
Jesse.
And what's Luke now?
Luke is COO.
Gotcha. Okay.
Luke is head of ops. Like he does all the delivery, fulfillment, management.
Gotcha.
Jesse's the CEO, and I'm the chief growth officer. Jesse is 40 years old, built Tenuity, which is the largest privately owned ad agency in America.
Wow.
They do about $300 million a year. He joined them when he was in his early 20s, like 23 or 24, when they're doing less than $2 million a year.
Damn.
And came on as their C-suite and grew from $2 million to $300 million a year. Has every corporate relationship: L'Oreal, Home Depot, Foot Locker, Gatorade, Procter & Gamble, Kellogg's, like all those corporate accounts. Those are who he's selling to. He sold over $500 million worth of media to these brands, to Tenuity.
Crazy.
It would be like if I was a consumer app and I poached the C-suite at Meta to join me.
And how'd you meet this guy?
So we had a family friend introduced me to him a long time ago. Right, like maybe a few months in me starting 2-3 Media. And then I just brushed it off. I didn't really talk to him. And I was getting introduced to a lot of big, not in a cocky way, but I was talking to a lot of people. And we got put in a group chat and didn't really talk to him. Then when I was thinking about dropping out of college, like 3 or 4 months in, I was calling my family friend. And I was like, what do you think? He was like, well, let me call Jesse and see what he thinks. He owns the large privately owned ad agency in America. He's going to have a good opinion on what you're doing, if there's legs, if there's something here.
Yeah.
Jesse told my family friend, without me knowing, that kid needs to drop out of college yesterday. He's onto something huge. Don't hold him back. Tell his parents don't hold him back. He needs to go all in on it. It's going to be huge. 12 months later, he left Tenuity to be my partner.
That's crazy. So how did you, and I remember you know, this is, for everyone listening, this is a 40-year-old dude with a family, with kids. I won't say exactly how much he's making, but making like an extremely good salary. And you just convinced this guy to like join a, tiny little startup run by like kids in their 20s. Like how did you do that?
With the average age being 22 in our business.
First business ever.
First business. He with kids, with a lot of a huge salary, a lot of stability. Left it. He was there for 17 and a half years.
Crazy.
Left it all behind to be my CEO, be my partner.
So how did you do that? What was your sell? What was your, like, walk me through like your elevator pitch to this guy.
It was the same. It was the same of how I got Luke. Luke had a lot of stability, had a good business, LTV. I was a kid screaming in a park, but he.
It's a great way to describe it.
He hated what he was doing. He was bored. He wasn't fulfilled. He wasn't passionate. He wasn't enthusiastic. He wasn't fired up. He wasn't excited. Same thing was with Jesse. Jesse was in corporate America. He had a good salary. He was going to the Boca Raton Beach Club. He's going out for dinner. He wasn't fired up. He wasn't excited. You called me for 2 minutes when I was in Washington Park. You're ready to run through a wall, getting off the phone with me. There was nobody more fired up, excited, but believed what they were building more than me in the entire world. I was building $1 billion business. I had $1 billion business as time hadn't caught up with me yet. There was nothing you could have said to me or done to me that was going to stop me. And Jesse would call me and be like, wow, this kid's got something. And we were growing. Like, we were taking bigger brands. We were getting, Caraway. We were getting clients that he was working with at Tenuity.
Yeah.
They were reaching out. He was like, whoa, if I just come in here and just use my resources, my connections, my knowledge of building ad agencies, we could probably like 10x pretty quickly. I could just like take all my connections that I've made over 20 years, sell them stream reviews, something they already want, hire more stream reviewers, and we could probably build a pretty huge business. I'll have a lot more fun doing it. And he wanted to go on a journey. He wanted an adventure.
Yeah.
Like he was in the prime of his career, 40 years old, like bored. Like there was no like hunger. There's no like he wasn't waking up every day to go fight. And that's exactly what I was doing. And I would call him and I would be like, we're building $1 billion empire right now. Like, and I would just tell him like, this is the biggest thing in the world. This is the biggest. I would call him at 2:00 in the morning. I would call him. He would be in bed with his wife. Be like, hey, what's going on? We're building $1 billion company. And it just fired him up. And like that energy, people don't buy anything except energy.
Yeah. And the best people in the world, the lesson there is like the most talented people in the world, sure, money is important, but it's not the most important thing to them. The most talented people. They want to have impact. They want to be excited.
Yeah. And I just fired him up so much to the point that he left it all behind to be my partner with the belief that this was going to be the biggest thing in the world.
Let's go. And how much equity did you have to give him for that? How big of a piece of your company did you have to give up to get an A player like that?
It will be roughly, it will vest if everything goes right. There's vesting up until a third of the business.
That's crazy. So like, think about that for everyone listening. Like, you already have a great business. It's already growing. It's already doing well. And you just handed over a third of it.
Yeah.
But you're willing to do that because this guy could have, exactly the skill set that you need to 10x.
We could have a huge exit to a corporate company.
Yeah.
To a corporate ad agency. They could buy Street Talk and deliver street reviews to their entire portfolio of clients. Mm-hmm. I won't know how to do that. I don't want to sit. I'm not going to be able to sit on YouTube and learn how to build how to get us HR and make everyone W-2s, get us the right insurance policies. But he sold Tinuiti twice to private equity.
Yeah. Also, that the aspect that he has sold companies before is probably going to double the exit potential. Right, like not knowing how to negotiate those types of deals, not knowing how to approach those situations,
what they're looking
like the
for.
Leverage. Yeah,
exactly. He knows
package your company the right way.
Yep. He knows all the investment banks. He knows he sold Tinuiti for tens of millions and then hundreds of millions of dollars. That's crazy. He's acquired 11 ad agencies before. He knows exactly how to orchestrate an ad agency for exit to private equity. He's done it over the last 10 years. He's going to come and do the same thing at Street Talk.
And is everyone working online right now?
Right now, is everyone online? Yeah.
Nice. Is the plan to keep it that way?
No, we're bringing 7 people in person to the office.
And how many employees do you guys have total now?
W-2s, we have 12 or 13.
Oh wow!
And then total with production managers and client success managers, stuff like that, we have 49.
Wow. So break that down for me. Of those 12 people, what are those positions? Is it mainly interviewers, videographers?
Interviewers aren't W-2s. They're all 1099s. Mm-hmm. It's head of production, creative directors, creative strategists, client success, like VP of Ops is like he's in the U.S. Me, Jack, Luke, are technically W-2'd. It is 2 of our hosts are W-2s. That also do a lot more like training and outreach and stuff, and then management, like talent and stuff like that.
Sweet.
W-2s.
And I have a leadership question for you. What are you doing, or like what exercises are you doing? What habits have you adopted to become a better leader? Or like what are you doing to actively just grow?
For me,
because every problem you're facing is new every time.
Every time. For me, it's 2 things. One is the energy and the passion, enthusiasm that I feel needs to go through every single person that works at Street Talk's body, and they need to feel it. They need to wake up. Like, I'll show you our team Slack channel every morning. Who's ready to get the fuck after it today? Who's fired up? Like that energy, everyone needs to have. And if I don't have it, the company's gonna fall apart, because that energy is what's required to build this thing. And so I lead with positivity, with delusional optimism, and with passion. And that passion translates. That's what got my CEO. That's what got Luke to join. That's what got Kurt to sleep on my floor and drive from Philadelphia. That passion and self-belief of what we were doing, that needs to translate to everyone. So that's number 1. Even if I'm having a bad time, even if I'm being faced with all the hell that I'm going through building this thing and the challenges, my people have. They think we are building $1 billion company.
That's a leader, bro. That's what the leader has to do. You could be like days away from bankruptcy, like not able to pay payroll. You can't let anybody know that.
No one will know. Maybe my advisors will know, mentors that I'll call and be pacing up and down about. But my team thinks we're a $1 billion company. Time hasn't caught up yet.
That's lit.
That's number 1. And then number 2 is bring in everything that I'm not. And that's exactly what I did. I bring in the 4-year-old that's been there, seen, done, that's exited companies. Bring in Luke, who's incredible at managing people and his ops skills, and is an amazing leader and is really good at like I'm a horrible manager of people. I'm like, where's this? Why was it like I'm crazy ADD? I forget everything.
Me too, bro.
Luke's not. Luke runs all the team-wide meetings. Everyone loves reporting to him, and he's great at that. And continue finding where my weaknesses are and allowing me just to 10x what I'm just really, really, really good at, which is vision sales.
Hell yeah. I love it, bro. So what are you doing out here in LA? Like, obviously we're going to this event together, but like, what is your goal? You're not an e-com brand owner, right? All of the people going to this event, as far as I'm aware, or most of them at least, are e-com brand owners.
Yeah.
What is your strategy or reason for being here right now so that people can understand like how you make the most of opportunities? What's your goal coming into this weekend?
So Oliver, I had this conversation last night. Oliver was like, oh, I want to go close business. And I was like, no.
He wants to go what?
Close business. Like, close brands or bust them.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, no. I want to go be the most liked person in that room.
That's the right way to think, yeah.
Like, I want everyone to leave there and, like, want to hang out with me tomorrow. I want to go introduce them to people that I think they would like.
Yeah.
I want to go provide value. I don't want anything from them.
Yeah.
And that's going to come back to me 100x.
Dude, that is exactly the right way you should be thinking. I'll tell you what Hudson told me last night. So Hudson and I were like just talking downstairs at the hotel last night, and I was talking to him, once again, like we're doing very well for our age, but these guys are like literally the best people in the world at e-com are going to be there. People are flying in from Australia and UK, everything. And I was asking Hudson, I was like, I don't want to step on toes. I feel very grateful to be here. How should I approach this? Like, should I be quiet? Should I just listen? Should I ask a lot of questions? And he goes, first of all, you come in there, you throw your dick on the table, act like you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And he said, I want you to prioritize making friends. He said, what most people are going to do at tomorrow's event, this was last night, is they're going to go up and say, well, how did you do this? And how did you do this? He said, you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You want to be the guy that's just like making people feel good. You want to be the guy getting people's contacts.
Yeah.
And just being cool. You want people thinking, damn, that Lucas guy was sick.
Just add value.
Yeah.
Add value. Add value.
He said, help other people. Like, he's like, Lucas, there is something that you're really good at, and it's the same with you. There's something that you're really good at that other people can gain value from. I want you to make your biggest priority tomorrow, going and helping other people and becoming their friend. And then you can fucking text them the questions you have for the next 5 years, right? Yep. But if you're just going, what do I get? What do I get? What do I get? What can I take from these people? The 1 day period you're there is the most you're going to get. So I think that's a great lesson that like a lot of people just don't understand. Provide value first, help people first. You understand this. I told everyone in Outliers, like, before you start asking other people for help, say, how can I help somebody else in here?
Yep.
Make their business better, make their life better, whatever. And it always comes back, whether it's directly or indirectly.
And it's a marathon. It's a long game. It's the arena. We're in the arena for decades.
Yeah.
And I did my launch video for the Street Talk rebrand last week.
Yeah.
And I'll share this too. I put maybe, 20 minutes into it. It took me 10 minutes to film. It was me on the street. We're Street Talk. This is what we do. I had an editor, edited it up to my vision, gave a few revisions. It was a good video. If I posted that, maybe I'll get a couple clients from it. Mm-hmm. I texted every single person in e-commerce to repost it and comment on it. Nick Shackelford, Nick Sharma, the biggest who's who, like Sean, like half the people at this event were liking and commenting on my Twitter post.
That's lit.
42,000 views, probably 40,000 for brand owners. It drove 38 sales calls in the first 24 hours, probably like 55 sales calls now of all qualified brands.
Wow.
Just because
those probably aren't even sales calls, right? It's like they're already closed. They already want to work with you. You just have to like explain it to them.
Yeah. There's like one quick start pretty much. But that is because I've never asked anyone for anything, and I've just done it. Like, I'm just a good guy to help people.
Yeah.
And I intro people left, right, and center. John, the house I stayed at last night, I've introed him to like half a dozen people that have been to LA on a work trip. Like, oh, you gotta meet my friend John. You gotta meet my friend John. Mm-hmm. And he now has 6 more e-commerce friends. And I just I have a very good friend who has a really big, I'm not gonna say his name, but a big personal brand and big agency. I've sent him leads and said to him, you gotta meet this person. You gotta meet this person. And just being that guy comes back at every single way possible.
100%.
And
because
there's
going to be times when you're at the tip of the spear and you know the biggest hacks and the biggest strategies to succeed, and then there's going to be times when somebody else knows it. And so if you're only prioritizing yourself, like, I've seen so many people that they're popping off for like a couple of months, whether it be on social media, in their business, whatever, and then somebody else comes along.
Yep.
And so if you're only prioritizing yourself and not building a community and a network as you grow, your time's going to be limited. I truly believe that.
100%.
It's like we're all even though entrepreneurship is like kind of talked about as like the loneliest sport in the world. When you're young and you're growing, you need to have allies and you need to build that network.
And also, you can speed. Dan Fleischman says this. It's another like person that is a super connector and is really good at this.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning like I speed ran business by finding people that had the information I needed. You can just do what would take most people 20 years in 3 years just by having people that have been there, seen it, or done it tell you the chess moves.
Yeah, why try and figure something out yourself when you can just go and learn from somebody else who already learned the lesson and paid the money and all that.
Yeah.
So what's, last question for you, bro. I actually 2 questions. Number 1, what's one thing you hold to be true that everybody else would certainly disagree with? It could be controversial take. It could be about social media, business. It could be about personality, being likable, anything. What's something that you truly believe in, like to your core, that like every person watching this podcast is gonna be like, what?
It's a good one.
And you could take some time to think about it.
I mean, I don't know how controversial it is, but like I always say like EQ over IQ all day long.
Yeah.
Nothing's more important than EQ. EQ will make you a billionaire. EQ will change your life. EQ will do it. IQ beats nothing.
What is EQ for people listening, and how do you make that better, and how do you grow it? Or do you just have it?
It's definitely something that's not like learning long division or learning multiplication that you can just like learn. It's being able to, so there's so many smart people in the world, right? If being smart made you successful, the world would be flipped on its head. So many, it's like book smart people that got good grades. Mm-hmm. That has nothing to do with success. Success is all about being able to read energy, read people, read rooms. That's like those characteristics make you successful. Mm-hmm. So if there's anything that I've learned, it's like when you look at someone like, I don't know, like a Dave Grutman, these people, like, they're not sitting there like, trying to figure out how to get the A. They're trying to figure out who got the A and what they could give them to learn the answers for the A.
That's interesting. They're not trying to figure out how to get the A in the class. They're trying to find the people who have the A and get the answers from them.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because that's cheating in school.
Yeah.
It's like everything about school that we're taught is like totally wrong in the real world. In the real world, if you're starting a business, what do? You don't try and figure shit out yourself. You go to the people who have the answer.
Yeah.
You pay them a lot of money to give it to you.
Yeah.
If you want the answers for the test in class, like what you should do and what school should teach you is like make friends with the nerds, and then they'll give you the right answers.
Yeah.
Like you make them feel good about
right next
themselves.
to the nerd and invite them to sit with you at lunch.
Yeah, you make the one guy that no one fucks with feel accepted and loved.
Yep.
And
you'll never worry about homework ever again.
Yeah, bro. It's like they don't teach these things.
Yeah.
But yeah, very well said, bro. And so what's next for you, bro? Like, what's the goal by the end of next year? Where do you want to be?
I want to, by the end of next year, I will. Street Talk will be at a 20 million a year run rate.
Hell yeah.
Street Talk will be at a 20 million a year run rate. We'll have made actors and comedians and people that want to be entertainers full-time jobs and salaries coming from Street Talk. We already have had half a dozen people quit their bartending jobs and their busboy jobs to come be street interviewers for us. We call them street talkers.
Yeah.
To come be a street talker.
Yeah.
We're giving people that move to New York and move to LA that want to be actors a way to make money being in entertainment and paying them more than a shit job that they would have to go out and get. Mm-hmm. I want hundreds of people doing this across America. Mm-hmm. And I want to start speaking. I want to start inspiring people. I want to be on stage. I was the goldfish trying to climb the tree, and I always say wait till you find your ocean. Like I got in my ocean and I swam faster than every single I've gone 18 hours a day every day since I started my LLC. And I just want to see how far I can go. Like how far can a kid with a 2.1 GPA in special ed with how far can that kid go? And then the farther I go, the more people I'm going to inspire.
Hell yeah, bro. Perfect. I think that's a perfect way to end it. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
And dude, it's just been so sick. Like, you know this already, and you don't need to hear this from me, but and I want to say this for everyone listening, like being around people that have the same energy, and I feel like it's a frequency thing, right? Yeah. When you're around people that have the same frequency, like I could talk to you for hours and I could come out of the conversation feeling like I just slammed a cold brew, which I did. But I could talk to the wrong person who doesn't have good energy, who doesn't, they're not on the right, and you're exhausted. Exactly. You're just like, fuck this, bro. Thank God that's over. So, dude, yeah, it's infectious, and
bro.
And I can't wait to see you succeed. And
likewise, bro.
Yeah,
just getting started.
Exciting. Hell yeah,
Let's
bro.
go.
Thanks.